Chapter 151, Go Through the Heavenly Palace. Chapter 151, Go Through the Heavenly Palace. At the very edge of the corridor, Jian Wushuang was standing side by side with Bailey Chen, followed by a large group of disciples behind them. Unlike the Dragon Gate, the Heavenly Palace was open to the public and could be seen by everyone. Jian Wushuang, this is your first time going through the Heavenly Palace, right? Bailey Chen asked with a smile. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded. I have to remind you that the trial of Heavenly Palace is very simple. Although there are some hindrances created by these puppets, just go as far as you can. And don't forget, you can't stop or retreat. Once you do, the trial will end. Got it? Bailey Chen said. Can't stop. Jian Wushuang frowned and asked, in other words, I have to keep moving forward. Yes, as long as you don't stop, you can go forward at a normal speed or even a very slow speed. Also, keep in mind that the Heavenly Palace is a total of 1 kilometer long. Bailey Chen said. 1 kilometer? Jian Wushuang suddenly changed color. In the outside world, traveling a kilometer would only take a minute. But the Heavenly Palace was filled with puppets that would try to stop him. So it was impossible for him to rush straight to the very end of the corridor. Just move forward as far as possible. Are you ready? Bailey Chen asked. Of course. Jian Wushuang nodded. Okay. Let's start. Swoosh. Swoosh. As soon as the sentence finished, Jian Wushuang and Bailey Chen turned into a flowing light at the same time, directly rushing toward the end of the corridor. The competition to see who could go farthest in the Heavenly Palace had started. And they both started at the same time. At the edge of the corridor, a large number of the disciples were watching with anticipation. The moment Jian Wushuang and Bailey Chen appeared in the corridor, the puppets immediately came to life and rushed towards them. Bailey Chen ranks second on the earthly dragon list. A weird light shone in Jian Wushuang's eyes. I have been steadily cultivating in the sword tomb for the last 2 years. My strength has skyrocketed, even to the point where I can kill common experts in the yin-yang void realm. However, it is said that the top 10 experts on the earthly dragon list are also capable of killing warriors in the yin-yang void realm. And those ranked in the top 3 are at a monstrous level. This Bailey Chen ranks second on the earthly dragon list. Between the two of us, who is stronger? Jian Wushuang looked forward to competing with Bailey Chen. When he saw 10 puppets rushing toward him, a cold light flashed in his eyes. Get out of my way. A howl of rage sounded out in an instant as the cold sword shadow swept out. With an overwhelming amount of sword essence of earth, the unbridled sword shadow instantly hit the puppets and knocked them away without even giving them a chance to touch Jian Wushuang. Without waiting, Jian Wushuang continued to attack, but 10 more puppets rushed towards him. The strength of these 10 puppets was obviously stronger than the puppets he just repulsed. The farther forward we move, the stronger these puppets will be. They will also be a greater hindrance, right? Narrowing his eyes, Jian Wushuang felt like he had a basic understanding of the trial in the Heavenly Palace. Now that he understood the situation, he would use his full power and move forward. Come on. With a growl, Jian Wushuang instantaneously released his full power. Wielding an unbridled sword shadow, he used the fiery wind sword essence to the pinnacle of his ability. The terrifying sword shadow, like a fire dragon, easily bombarded the puppets and knocked them backwards. Jian Wushuang had not been hindered at all, so he continued to rush forward, attacking the puppets in the process. On the other side, Bailey Chen also used all his strength. His palms slammed forward, one after the other, and his blood-colored gloves radiated an iridescent luster at this moment. His attacks caused even the air to tremble. Every one of his attacks was frightening. Each blow contained the combined essences of raging fire and water drop. Water and fire essence. Obviously, Bailey Chen had combined 2 essences as well. Bailey Chen's water and fire essence was not weaker than Jian Wushuang's fiery wind essence. Also, Bailey Chen's palm skill was extremely terrifying, frightening, and appalling. One blow after another, the puppets never even had an opportunity to touch him before being knocked back. Extremely awesome. Is that the strength of the second rank on the earthly dragon list? Extremely awesome. Bailey Chen is too strong. His every move seems to be able to destroy the heaven and earth. Although I'm an expert on the earthly dragon list, I don't think I could withstand his attacks. Jian Wushuang is so strong as well. His comprehension of fiery wind sword essence is extremely high, together with his violent, fierce, and rapid assaults. Luckily, those puppets are made of special materials that are unbreakable. Otherwise, they would have already been chopped into pieces. Both of them are very strong. What Bailey Chen said is true. When Jian Wushuang competed with Luo Ang just now, he did not try his best. He did not even use his fiery wind sword essence. A large number of disciples were talking about that, and each of them was very shocked. However, despite the strength possessed by both Jian Wushuang and Bailey Chen, the farther they went into the corridor, the stronger those puppets were, and the more they were hindered by them. Soon, both of them began slowing down. It was starting to get quite difficult for them to move forward. Finally, bang! A puppet approached Jian Wushuang with a fierce saber attack, but Jian Wushuang used his sword to withstand it. The terrifying sword shadow instantly pierced the void, colliding with the incoming saber, immediately launching the puppet backwards. However, the power of this puppet saber was not weak. Although it couldn't hurt Jian Wushuang, it was still enough to make him stop for an instant. That pause meant that this trial was over, so the puppets surrounding him immediately stopped. At almost the same time when Jian Wushuang stopped, Bailey Chen was also forced to stop by a puppet. In a single instant, both of them had stopped, and their trials had ended at nearly the same time. At this moment, the distance between them was less than 10 meters. One was in front and the other was slightly behind. In the outside world, a 10-meter distance was like a single step. But in the heavenly palace, it was much more complicated. Seeing this scene, the disciples at the edge of the corridor also stood up in amazement and stared at Jian Wushuang. Palace masters Black and White, as well as the temple masters, also watched this scene speechlessly. Only 10 meters. Only 10 meters, that can be made up for with a single step. Jian Wushuang is not lucky enough. Yes, the figure that was 10 meters behind was Jian Wushuang. If as usual, getting behind was a fact. But now there seemed to have coincidence as far as the merely 10-meter distance. Chapter 152, The Peak of Profound Gold Core Realm. Chapter 152, The Peak of Profound Gold Core Realm. I lost. I did my best, but I still lost, Jian Wushuang said helplessly. He indeed did his best. Even after using fiery wind sword essence with his full power, he was still 10 meters behind. Whoosh, whoosh. Jian Wushuang returned to the edge of the corridor with Bailey Chen. A large number of disciples were staring at them excitedly. You two did an excellent job, said the Palace Master White. Bailey Chen, your strength has improved a lot compared to 3 years ago. You exaggerate, Palace Master. I was lucky to be 10 meters ahead this time. After all, this was the first time Jian Wushuang went through the Heavenly Palace. He is not quite familiar with it yet. If he tried again, I might not be his match. His strength is greater than mine, Bailey Chen said. Hearing this, the surrounding disciples were stunned. They did not expect that Bailey Chen would admit that Jian Wushuang's strength was greater than his. Everybody knew that Bailey Chen ranked second on the earthly dragon list, while Jian Wushuang. How old was he? I lost, and this is the truth. Even if we fought one more time, I would still lose. Jian Wushuang smiled and said. All right, you two are done fighting, so now it's time for the competition. There will be 7 winners selected during the competition. Let's go. Hearing what Palace Master White said, the disciples returned to martial arts practice field again, and threw themselves into the competition. The combat over the remaining 7 recommendations would be much crueler. It was a competition where everyone had to depend on their own strength. Only the 7 strongest people would be allowed to attend the selection battle. Yang Zixuan walked directly towards Luo Ang with a cold face. You are Luo Ang, right? Your recommendation chance will be mine, Yang Zixuan said coldly. How ridiculous. Being immediately enraged, Luo Ang threw himself into the fight with Yang Zixuan. Only a few minutes later, this fierce battle ended. The result amazed nearly all the disciples of Dragon Palace. Luo Ang lost, again. First, Jian Wushuang beat him, now Yang Zixuan was the second one who defeated him. Although Yang Zixuan was not able to defeat Luo Ang within 3 moves like Jian Wushuang, he had overpowered Luo Ang throughout the whole match, without any suspense. It was obvious that Yang Zixuan's battle strength was much greater than Luo Ang's. The top 10, Yang Zixuan's strength is strong enough to rank in the top 10 of the Earthly Dragon list. We have one more powerful person. Haha, how unfortunate for Luo Ang. After all, he is ranking 14th on the Earthly Dragon list, but he was defeated by 2 people in the same today, being overpowered by both of them. Hearing the disciples' discussions, Palace Master White and the others were happy and surprised. Yang Zixuan was strong enough to be in the top 10 of the Earthly Dragon list, which meant that they might get one more spot in the Easternmost hunt this time. So of course, they were happy. Other than Yang Zixuan, there was one more excellent newcomer who caught their attention. This person was Su Ru. This lady. Her swordsmanship is so odd. She has defeated 3 seniors in a row. One of them even ranked 29th on the Earthly Dragon list. While the disciples were discussing this, Su Ru defeated the 4th senior. So she had a very good chance of receiving a recommendation. Among the 4 newcomers who attended the competition this time, Jian Wushuang, Yang Zixuan, Su Ru, and Su Lai. Other than Su Lai, the other 3 would receive a recommendation. On behalf of Dragon Palace, they could attend the selection battle held in Tianzong Dynasty next month. Haha, you 3 are really excellent, you are definitely my siblings, Wang Yuan smiled and said proudly, especially Wushuang, you were so formidable when you competed with Bailey Chen. Everybody knows he is ranked 2nd on the Earthly Dragon list. But I was still defeated, said Jian Wushuang, shaking his head. He was not proud or happy at all. He thought after 2 years of earnest cultivation in the Sword Tomb that his strength would be enough to look down on the Earthly Dragon list. But obviously, he was wrong. Even Bailey Chen, who was ranked 2nd, was so hard to defeat. Not to mention Xue Yun, who was ranked 1st. Since he was slightly weaker than Bailey Chen, how much stronger was Xue Yun? The selection battle next month will gather experts from everywhere. Xue Yun is a peerless genius that Bloodfeather Tower elaborately cultivated. He will definitely attend it as well, which means he will probably fight with me. Jian Wushuang was worried and thought. 3 years ago, Bailey Chen and Qing Kang teamed up to fight against Xue Yun, but they were only able to reach a draw. However, Xue Yun was just in the profound gold core realm at that time. Now, 3 years had passed. What level was Xue Yun's strength at? Jian Wushuang squinted his eyes slightly. If he fought with Xue Yun right now and didn't use the soul-taking secret skill, he had no confidence that he could win. There is only 1 month left before the battle. I must find a way to enhance my strength in this remaining month. A light flashed in Jian Wushuang's eyes. After the 10 recommendations were confirmed, Jian Wushuang left the martial arts practice field and went directly to Secret Pavilion. Once there, he exchanged for plenty of first-class heavenly spirit pills. Afterwards, he devoted himself to earnest cultivation for 1 month. During that whole month, he had locked himself in the room, without even stepping outside of the door. Yang Zixuan and Su Ru were also in earnest cultivation. They all knew that there was only 1 month left before the match. Any improvements during this month would increase their chance of winning in the selection battle. Wang Yuan suffered the whole month, because everyone was cultivating in isolation at the same time. So he could not find anyone to drink with. In a flash, 1 month had passed. On the bed in his room, Jian Wushuang's eyes, which were originally half-closed, suddenly opened. At the same time, a foul air was exhaled from his mouth. I have swallowed 30 first-class heavenly spirit pills this month, 1 each day. It's such a luxury. Although a great deal of the heavenly spirit pills' efficiency was wasted, it helped my cultivation reach the peak of the profound gold core realm. Clenching his hands tightly, he could feel that his power was much stronger than 1 month ago. Jian Wushuang smiled. Earlier, in the Sword Tomb, his cultivation had already reached the profound gold core realm, only a small distance from the peak of the profound level. Plus, he had been cultivating tirelessly this month, while swallowing a large number of first-class heavenly spirit pills. It would be unreasonable if he did not reach the peak of the profound gold core realm. In addition, I finally grasped the 8th move of the formless sword art. Zhen Wushuang smiled and muttered. The 7th move of the formless sword art could only be displayed by someone with a good comprehension of the gale and raging fire sword essences. Combining them was unnecessary, while the 8th move required those two essences to be combined before it could be used. This move could really help Zhen Wushuang raise his strength to a new level. It's a pity that I was still unable to combine 3 sword essences, even after this month of cultivation. Otherwise, I would be even more prepared, Zhen Wushuang muttered in a dissatisfied tone. Chapter 153 – The Selection Battle Begins. Chapter 153 – The Selection Battle Begins. When the sword essences were combined, his fighting strength greatly improved. With the fiery wind sword essence, formed via the combination of gale and raging fire, Zhen Wushuang's fighting strength had improved immensely. The increase in strength would be even greater if he could combine 3 sword essences. As a conservative estimate, once Zhen Wushuang combined 3 sword essences, his overall strength could be increased by at least 3 times. However, it's pity, during the 2 years of meditation in the sword tomb, even though his comprehension of those 4 sword essences was at a high level, he was unable to combine 3 sword essences. Neither sword essences of earth nor water drop were combined with fiery wind sword essence successfully. Successfully combining them depended on more than just comprehension. What he needed was a moment of insight. If he was lucky, he could combine 3 sword essences in the next instant. However, even without combining 3 sword essences, I have absolute confidence I could defeat Bailey Chen now. My strength has improved a lot compared to 1 month ago, Zhen Wushuang muttered confidently. He was different from other warriors. What he practiced was inverse cultivation. Other warriors could only gain limited improvements within 1 month, while he could greatly improve. After all, his current cultivation was only in the profound gold core realm, while Bailey Chen and the other top experts were all at the peak of the gold core realm. Just looking at his cultivation level, there was plenty of room for improvement. The 1-month deadline is near, which means the selection battle is about to start. Zhen Wushuang thought. His hands were clenched tightly, and a light shined in his eyes. 10 griffins had long been prepared outside of the Dragon Palace. Zhen Wushuang, Yang Zixuan, and Su Ru walked side by side, towards Bailey Chen. Bailey Chen randomly picked a griffin and sat down, looking over at them as he said, "You 3 finally arrived. We were all waiting for you. Why is it just you guys here? Where are Palace Master White and the others?" Zhen Wushuang said questioningly. "They have already gone to the selection battlefield. They don't have time to deal with us," Bailey Chen said jokingly. "All right, pick a griffin and let's go. Not sure why, but the selection battlefield this time is, unexpectedly, 100 miles away from the Imperial Palace." Outside the Imperial Palace? Zhen Wushuang grew suspicious. Soon after, the 10 gold core realm experts, who were attending the battle on behalf of Dragon Palace, left on the griffins. 100 miles away from the Imperial Palace was a huge blank field. At this moment, that blank field was already very crowded and busy. Through the internal selection battle in Tianzong Dynasty, the strongest 15 geniuses would be picked to attend the easternmost hunt. The selection battle was held every decade. Needless to say, everyone took this quite seriously. An innumerable amount of warriors was gathered in the field. Although it was not yet noon, the number must have reached over 100,000. With more than 100,000 people gathered in a blank field, what would it look like? They looked like a swarm of wasps. Fortunately, Tianzong Dynasty had a royal guard. With the royal guard in place, the battlefield was kept in good order. After all, every sergeant was at the exceptional gold core realm. The royal guard had an incredible battle strength. And, the sergeants worked well together, so nobody could cause trouble in front of them. If someone tried, it would only take a few sergeants to suppress them. The crowd included a large number of experts with tyrannical auras, most of which were much stronger than the exceptional gold core realm. They were experts from the earthly dragon list. Normally they would rarely appear, but during this event, experts from the earthly dragon list could be seen everywhere. At a glance, It was easy to spot more than 50 experts from the earthly dragon list. However, the warriors present were not really excited to see the normal experts of the earthly dragon list. They saw too many in this event. What attracted their sight was those top experts. That is Ouyang Haotian, right? Yes, it's him, ranked 3rd on the earthly dragon list. The man next to him is his little brother, Ouyang Haoyue. I heard that he can easily kill the experts in the yin-yang void realm. He will definitely be one of the strongest who claims one of the 15 places in this selection battle. Is that Mu Yingying from the Mu clan? She attended as well. She was originally ranked 3rd on the earthly dragon list, but is now ranked 4th. Even though she moved back 1 rank, her strength still should not be underestimated. Quite a lot of people were discussing in secret. Brother, look at how many people are watching you. Standing next to his eldest brother, Ouyang Haoyue felt proud. Well, ignore them, Ouyang Haotian said casually. I am pretty confident that I can get a spot in the selection battle. As for you, I will try my best to get a spot for you too, if there is a chance. Thanks, brother, Ouyang Haoyue said excitedly. But suddenly, his face turned cold and he said, Brother, I have a request. It's about Jian Wushuang. Yes, I know, Ouyang Haotian nodded and said, Don't worry, I will handle it for you. Jian Wushuang is not qualified to be my opponent. Forget Jian Wushuang, even Bailey Chen will be defeated by me this time. Nowadays, only one person is qualified to be my opponent on the entire earthly dragon list. Who? Ouyang Haoyue could not help but ask. Shuiyun, Ouyang Haotian said, with his eyes suddenly shrank, he is coming. A black shadow swept through the air at an amazing speed. In no time it appeared, hovering over the area. This shadow turned out to be a giant black condor, carrying a robed figure. It began to float down slowly, finally landing on the platform which was temporarily built in the center of the blank field. The platform was quiet. Even though there were plenty of warriors around, nobody dared to step on it. At this moment, the figure suddenly appeared on the platform, overlooking everyone in the field with a wicked look. In an instant, the entire field was in a tumult. He is Shuiyun. Yes, he is Shuiyun. He is the one who is ranking 1st on the earthly dragon list, and the well-deserved strongest beneath the yin-yang void realm. He will definitely acquire one of the 15 spots without a doubt. Seeing him, plenty warriors around were very excited. Shuiyun could be called a myth and a legend. He was a goal that almost all warriors of Tianzong dynasty were striving for. But now, this myth appeared in front of everybody, overlooking the crowd crossly with his wicked and evil eyes, with everybody was in his sight. Everybody who was in his sight could not help lowering their heads, including the experts of the earthly dragon list. No one dared to look Shuiyun in the eye. They knew the disparity between their power was quite big. The disparity was so big that they could not catch up with purely by cultivating. Brother, is he Shuiyun? There were several figures with long swords on their backs in the crowd. They were from Tianyuan sword sect. Among them was Jian Meng'er and her great master, Shui Hanshin, whom Jian Wushuang had seen before. Chapter 154, Greeting. Chapter 154, Greeting. It's him, the strongest person on the earthly dragon list, a real monster. Next to Jian Meng'er, stood a handsome man with a somewhat ethereal atmosphere. The elegant man was Ling Feng, the top genius of the Tianyuan sword sect. At the moment, Ling Feng looked dignified, staring at the demonic youth on the platform in front of him. A monster? Is he more powerful than you, senior brother? Jian Meng'er could not help asking. Junior sister, you overestimate me. I know my own ability. Although I'm ranked 41st on the earthly dragon list, I'm nothing compared to Shuiyun. I don't even know if I could take one move from him, Ling Feng said seriously. Ling Feng, don't be too humble. Shuiyun is strong, but your strength is not bad. Even a few of the upper elders in the Tianyuan sword sect admire your strength. But, if you really don't want to face Shuiyun, you can bypass him when the selection battle starts. Just avoid head-on collisions with him, Shui Hanshin said, standing beside him. Ah, I know. Ling Feng nodded slightly. As one of the 5 biggest sword sects in Tianyang province, Qianyuan sword sect could be seen as first class in the Qianzong dynasty in terms of strength. It also received a recommendation for the selection battle. And the recommendation was naturally given to Ling Feng. Suddenly, many warriors standing in the area looked into the air not far away, where they saw some dark spots appear. There were 10 dark spots. It is Dragon Palace. The disciples of Dragon Palace are coming. It's the Dragon Palace that is said to be filled with exceptional geniuses. Many warriors on the field were excited again. Those 10 dark spots gradually became larger under the stares of the warriors, and then they appeared in the air above the open space. So many people, Zhen Wushuang said secretly when seeing the dense crowd beneath. There are many people every time the selection battle starts, said Bailey Chen, smiling on the side. It was not his first time coming to the selection battlefield. It was just that he was only in the audience last time, like the large number of warriors below. Let's go down. As soon as Bailey Chen finished his words, those 10 figures immediately jumped from the griffin at the same time. The 10 figures appeared on the ground of the open space almost at the same time. The warriors, however, who were originally around them, retreated back and made way for them. Zhen Wushuang and the others slowly walked forward along the path in the crowd. All eyes were concentrated on them. Disciples of Dragon Palace were so eye-catching. After all, Dragon Palace was the holy place for cultivators in Qianzong dynasty. After all, among the 100 people on the earthly dragon list, disciples of Dragon Palace occupied a total of 17. Besides, for the 15 spots in each selection battle, Dragon Palace usually won 4 or 5. With such glorious results, it was difficult for Dragon Palace to go unnoticed. That is Bailey Chen, the second place on the earthly dragon list. Qing Kang, Barbarian King Qing Kang, the Barbarian King. Is the young man with a sword on his back Zhen Wushuang? Did Zhen Wushuang come too? He is 10th place on the earthly dragon list. But his ranking was not earned. Haha, really? I guess there are quite a few experts on the earthly dragon list who are not convinced by his ranking. Watch, after the selection battle starts later, there will be lots of people eyeing him. Isn't he unfortunate? I couldn't agree more. Many warriors were whispering, and what most of them talked about was Zhen Wushuang. That's the way it goes. Experts on the earthly dragon list were ranked using convincing battle results. But Zhen Wushuang's battle results were questioned by many people. They thought he was not qualified to be ranked in the top 10. Therefore, he was naturally more noticeable. Nobody noticed that on the raised platform in the center of the open space, the long-haired wicked young man, Shui Yun, also glanced at the people from Dragon Palace, with his eyes finally remaining fixed on Zhen Wushuang. Zhen Wushuang, the target of the Scarlet Kill command. He made our Blood Feather Tower fail 2 times in assassinations. And it was because of him our Blood Feather Tower suffered a huge loss. He does not look that strong. Shui Yun murmured, but suddenly he slightly tilted his mouth, revealed a touch of a strange smile. Master has personally instructed me to kill him in this selection battle without fail. Since we will meet sooner or later, I will say hello to him in advance. Thinking of this, Shui Yun immediately turned into a cloud of fog and drifted straight over. Zhen Wushuang, those people around you are talking about you. They all said you do not deserve to be ranked 10th on the earthly dragon list, Bailey Chen sneered. Hearing this, Zhen Wushuang also smirked and couldn't help touching his nose. But at that moment, a sudden streak of light flashed in Zhen Wushuang's eyes. He instantly raised his head, watching as a shadow drifted towards him silently. A blast of amazing killing intent had firmly locked onto him. Many people had wanted to kill Zhen Wushuang during his life, but this was his first time being locked onto by such a large and astonishing killing intent. Blood Feather Tower? Zhen Wushuang slightly tilted his mouth, and quickly stepped out. The triple kill sword was instantly unsheathed. Chew! An unbridled sword shadow directly cut through the air with irresistible force and swept forward. Using his supreme gold core, at the peak of the profound gold core realm, a power which had already reached the peak of the gold core realm instantly rushed forward. And the drifting dark shadow also directly released a black light at that moment. The sword shadow immediately collided with the black light. Suddenly, bang! The earth and the sky changed color. A terrible roar instantly exploded in the area, like a lightning bolt out of nowhere. As a large number of warriors around had not yet responded, they watched the space where the sword shadow collided with the black light directly. Two terrible forces formed a violent wind, which was like a destructive storm. It immediately swept out with an overwhelming strength. Rumble tilde. The entire area trembled frantically. The place where Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun collided was the first to experience the blast, with dust and gravel flying out as the destructive storm expanded. Instantly, the power of the destructive storm increased. However, when the destructive storm expanded, a disaster occurred. Do you think that Jian Wushuang can get a spot this time? The two warriors in the Gold Core realm were standing at the side and talking casually. They were the closest to the point of collision. Suddenly, there was a huge roar, followed by a blast from the destructive storm. What? The two warriors in the Gold Core realm were directly knocked away before they could even react. At the same time, flying gravel hit them, causing them to immediately spit blood. As for the other warriors, they also changed their facial expressions at that moment. Oh, no. My God. Run, run quickly. What the hell is this? Chapter 155, Battle. Chapter 155, Battle. Run. A large number of warriors were crazily escaping in all directions at this moment, chased by the horrible destructive storm that was mercilessly rushing towards them. Shaking heaven and earth. They did not notice the two figures that were fiercely fighting in the center of the platform until the destructive storm calmed. It's them. One is Shui Yun, the other one is Jian Wushuang. It's them. The storm was created by them. At that moment, nearly 100,000 warriors were gathered in the field, looking towards the center in terror. The sword shadow and the black light were still in contact, and a terrifying spiritual power was constantly being released, spurting sparks occasionally. Not bad, Shui Yun said, revealing an evil smile and retreating in an instant. You want to escape? Not that easy, Jian Wushuang said coldly. The moment when Shui Yun retreated, Jian Wushuang thrust toward him with his triple-kill sword, instantly releasing fiery wind sword essence. The eighth move of the formless sword art. With the help of Gale, the sword light glided through the air like a fiery dragon, appearing in front of Shui Yun in a flash. With a calm look, Shui Yun used his blood-red blade to ward off the attack, instantly covering the area in darkness. Clang! With another fierce strike, the area began twisting due to failure to bear the strength. A strong gale rushed out, blowing away all the debris in the area. There was a horrid sound of thunder and the ground trembled. The constant gale and the horrible roar released by the terrifying blast shocked most of the warriors in the area. At that moment, whoosh, whoosh, two figures appeared next to Shui Yun at the same time, one left and one right. They were Yong Zixuan and Su Ru. They joined the fight with no hesitation. A saber split through the air and glided directly towards Shui Yun. At the same time, Su Ru waved her long sword. A vast sword essence of water drop was released, and the spiritual power rushed towards Shui Yun's head. Huh! Shui Yun's face turned dark. Swaying his body, he suddenly disappeared from the area. When he reappeared, he was in the center of the platform. However, as soon as he appeared there, a cold hum sound blew into Shui Yun's ear. Following the sound, a sword shadow which was cold and formidably powerful was fiercely moving towards him. With his pupils contracting, Shui Yun had to retreat again. Crack! The cold sword shadow glided directly over the several meters tall platform. In an instant, the platform was split into two pieces. Shock! The entire crowd was shocked. Seeing the two halves of the platform, many warriors could not help taking a deep breath. You guys, what are you doing? With a roar, a bunch of golden-armored sergeants approached Jian and Shui. Needless to say, these golden-armored sergeants were the royal guards who were in charge of the maintaining order here. They appeared in the center and stopped Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun. Although the royal guards appeared, they actually felt quite helpless. Normally, they would instantly suppress any battles when people messed around and made so much trouble, regardless of whether they were ordinary warriors or experts on Earthly Dragon List. However, this time they were. My god, are they really only in the gold core realm? Judging by the horrendous noise just now, they would not be weaker than some top experts in the yin-yang void realm. They were not people who could be easily suppressed by the royal guards, who were only in the exceptional gold core realm. A random blade flash or sword essence from either of them was powerful enough to kill a whole group of them. Both of them are ranked in the top 10 on the earthly dragon list. One is obviously not just ranked 10th according to his true strength, and the other one is the indisputable first on the earthly dragon list. What are they fighting for? The sergeants were roaring in their hearts. At the same time, a large number of the surrounding warriors were scared as well. Powerful. They are too powerful. We are also experts on the earthly dragon list, but the strength disparity between them and us is too great. Too powerful, too terrifying. It's not a big deal for Shui Yun. After all, he is recognized as the strongest on the earthly dragon list, so his strength was never doubted. But why is Jian Wushuang's strength so powerful as well? Those warriors all felt it was inconceivable. Especially since many of them were still questioning why Jian Wushuang was ranked 10th just minutes ago. They believed that he was not qualified to hold that rank. But now, even though the fight with Shui Yun ended quickly, the strength Jian Wushuang released was powerful enough to shock the experts who ranked in top 10 on the earthly dragon list. Jian Wushuang? His strength is really powerful. A beautiful and smart girl was staring at Jian Wushuang with a stiffened face at that moment as well. She was Mu Yingying, who ranked 4th on the earthly dragon list. After watching this short fight, she could not look down on Jian Wushuang's strength at all. Shui Yun is a monster. I don't even have the courage to fight with him. However, Jian Wushuang actually fought with him to that extent. Even though Shui Yun did not display his utmost strength, Jian Wushuang was already very powerful. A cold-faced man carrying a saber on his waist stood in the crowd, with his eyes sparkling slightly. He was the top genius of the gladiator arena, Feng Yutian, who was ranked 5th on the earthly dragon list. Big brother, Ouyang Haoyue said, looking toward his brother. Frowning slightly, Ouyang Haotian said, Jian Wushuang's strength is indeed very good. I might only be a little bit stronger than him. But if we fight formally, I have confidence in defeating him. Other than the experts in the top 10 ranks, even those who ranked lower were discussing this as well. Too powerful, they are too strong. Ling Feng's body was shaking with his hand clenched. The short fight between Jian Wushuang and Shui Yun completely scared him. However, he did not notice that Shui Hanshin and Jian Meng'er who stood beside him were completely baffled as well. Him, it's him? Shui Hanshin was looking at Jian Wushuang incredulously, the same as everyone else who was present at this moment. She had met him before. One of her disciples was defeated by him 3 years ago. She was very shocked and pissed at that time. She even threatened him, saying that she would cultivate her disciple vigorously in the next 3 years, and they would get revenge 3 years later. However, 3 years had passed, she did not expect this. Jian Wushuang, he is Jian Wushuang. Jian Meng'er's body was shaking as well. She looked at Jian Wushuang in shock and panic. Even senior brother Ling Feng is not Shui Yun's match. How could Jian Wushuang fight with him so equally and not appear weaker than him? Jian Meng'er could not say a word at that moment. Meanwhile, Shui Hanshin looked towards her. After staring at each other for a few minutes, the expressions on their faces became slightly self-deprecating. Chapter 156, Diamond Cuts Diamond. Chapter 156, Diamond Cuts Diamond. The surrounding warriors were currently in discussion. Jian Wushuang, in a black robe, with the triple kill sword in hand. Suddenly a sword essence was released through the air. The sword essence with a billowing battle intent radiated from Jian Wushuang. The billowing battle intent caused the whole area calm down. Everyone was looking forward to what might happen next. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 figures appeared next to Jian Wushuang. They were Yang Zixuan and Su Ru. Their faces were cold, and both were staring at the demonic youth, Shui Yun, who was not far away from them. Hehe, I just wanted to say hello, no need to take it so seriously. Shui Yun smiled with an evil look. Say hello. The way you guys from Bloodfeather Tower saying hello is really special, Jian Wushuang sneered. Yun raised his eyebrows and said, Zhen Wushuang, I had never even heard of you 1 month ago. But now, you are quite well known in Bloodfeather Tower. More than 1 month ago, you raided the Clearwater stronghold in Qingshui on your own, killing more than 100 assassins there. Even 2 purple masked assassins were defeated, with one dying and the other one escaping. Aren't you quite efficient? Yun spoke casually. While listening to what he said, many warriors in the area were shocked. He attacked the Clearwater stronghold alone. He eliminated more than 100 assassins, and even the purple masked assassins were defeated, with one dying and the other one escaping. Purple masked assassins? Aren't they the supreme experts in the yin-yang void realm? Zhen Wushuang has such frightening battle results. Unexpected. Compared to your Bloodfeather Tower, what I did is nothing, Zhen Wushuang said coldly. Yun sneered non-committally. You too, a low voice sounded. The sound was from one of the royal guards who seemed to be the leader. Any hatred between you can be resolved during the coming selection battle. For now, I hope you will temporarily stop. Even if you are powerful, the royal guard will definitely suppress you. The sergeants of the royal guard in the area all looked serious. Having glanced at the royal guards who were gathering around them, Zhen Wushuang lifted his head, looked toward Yun, and said, I will be coming for you in the selection battle. I will be waiting for you, Yun spoke proudly, with a slight smile. Their words immediately created a disturbance around the platform. Everybody became excited. Everybody knew that there would be an exciting and matchless battle in the selection battle. The fierce confrontation between Zhen and Shui just now was only a warm-up. Several figures were gathered in the air, not far away from the platform. Some were floating, and some were riding on flying beasts. At first glance, there were at least 10 people. These people were all peak experts of the yin-yang void realm. They were the top experts from the sects, which included Palace Masters Black-White from Dragon Palace, Greyrobe from Bloodfeather Tower, and one of the Hall Masters from the Gladiator Arena. Those experts saw what just happened on the platform, and a few of them were in discussion. Haha, those little fellows have bad tempers. One is Yun from Bloodfeather Tower, and the other is Zhen Wushuang from Dragon Palace. So it's not surprising that they want to fight. After all, the hatred between Zhen Wushuang and Bloodfeather Tower is well known. Exactly. Their fight will be a competition of diamond cutting diamond. I am looking forward to it. Palace Masters, and Mr. Greyrobe, don't you have anything to say? Both of them are disciples under your commands. These yin-yang void realm experts were talking and laughing. There is nothing to say. Zhen Wushuang is the target of the Scarlet Kill command from our Bloodfeather Tower. He needs to die no matter what, Greyrobe said coldly. You like to exaggerate. Be careful that you don't bite your tongue. Seems like the lesson you received 2 years was not enough. Palace Master White glanced at Greyrobe and spoke coldly. 2 years ago. With his mouth spasming, Greyrobe continued, if it wasn't for the other 2 forces secretly helping you 2 years ago, your Dragon Palace would not have put our Bloodfeather Tower in such a situation. How ridiculous. Oh, you are just quarrelsome, said the Palace Master White sneeringly. You are the one who is quarrelsome. Just wait, that exceptional genius will die in this selection battle, Greyrobe said. Hearing this, Palace Master White's face darkened. She was a little bit worried about Zhen Wushuang. That boy should just participate in the selection battle like normal. Why does he need to engage himself in a fight with Yun like a fool? Yun is the recognized first place on the Earthly Dragon list. His strength was already frightening 3 years ago. In addition, during the past 3 years, his strength had improvements in cultivation and other aspects. All the people in the Tianzong dynasty knew that now Yun was a hardcore monster, so nobody dared to challenge him. However, Zhen Wushuang was determined to fight with this monster. If he avoided Yun in the selection battle, he could definitely get a place with his strength. But once he faces Yun, it will be difficult for him to survive, not to mention claiming a spot. Having glanced at each other, Palace Masters White and Black were both worried. But right at that moment, haha, it's quite lively here. A gentle and amiable voice suddenly rang out, as a golden chair appeared in the very center of the crowd of experts. On the chair sat a handsome man in a golden imperial robe. Seeing the imperial-robed man who suddenly appeared, the yin-yang void realm experts all became courteous. "Greetings, Your Majesty. Greetings, Your Majesty." Many experts bowed to the imperial-robed man, included Palace Master White, Palace Master Black, and Grey Robe. They stood up from their seats and gave him a courteous bow. In the entire Tianzong dynasty, only one person was qualified to be called Your Majesty. He was Di Shi, the monarch of Tianzong dynasty. Di Shi was not only the present monarch of Tianzong dynasty, but also a peak expert ranked first on the Heavenly Dragon list. He was recognized as the strongest in the yin-yang void realm in Tianzong dynasty. Regarding Crazy Knife, who shocked the entire Tianzong dynasty 100 years ago and had been ranked first on the Heavenly Dragon list for several decades, he had been removed from the Heavenly Dragon list because of his long absence. "No need to be so formal, please sit as you were." As soon as Di Shi waved his hand lightly, the people present all sat back down. "I saw the fight between those two young men. They are both very excellent, especially Shui Yun. His strength is very distinctive." "He did not display his full strength," Di Shi said casually. "The young man called Zhen Wushuang is incredible as well. After all, he is only in the profound gold core realm right now. Once he achieves the exceptional gold core realm in several years, he will definitely be Shui Yun's match. It's a pity that these two outstanding young men enemies engaged in a life-and-death struggle." Chapter 157 Rules. Chapter 157 Rules. When it came to this, Di Shi was very helpless. The easternmost hunt was extremely cruel and could even be horrifying. As a small empire, the Tianzong dynasty could only compete with those middle-sized or large empires when all 15 geniuses participating in the hunt worked together. If there were internal conflicts, then it was the same thing as going to their death. Therefore, since Zhen Wushuang was filled with a hatred toward Shui Yun, only one person between them could participate in the easternmost hunt. The other would have to stop at this selection battle. "It's almost time, let's start," Di Shi said indifferently. Upon hearing this, a golden-armored general standing beside him respectfully nodded and then left. In the open space where a large number of warriors gathered, everyone was still focused on Zhen Wushuang and Shui Yun. "Zhen Wushuang, you have stolen the limelight." Bailey Chen walked up to Zhen Wushuang and joked. "He started it." Zhen Wushuang shrugged. "I know." Bailey Chen's expression suddenly grew dignified and said, "But you must be careful with Shui Yun. That guy is rather terrifying." "Terrifying?" Zhen Wushuang glanced at Bailey Chen. An exceptional genius ranked second on the Earthly Dragon list, actually used this word to describe a warrior at the same level. "He's very terrifying," Bailey Chen said seriously. 3 years ago, I teamed up with Qing Kang to fight against him. It resulted in a draw. But at the time, he was only in the profound gold core realm. At the time, he had just entered the profound gold core realm, not even at the peak level. But now, his cultivation has reached the peak of the exceptional gold core realm. Just going by his cultivation, his power has increased a lot. Let alone counting his talent, in the past 3 years, his comprehension of the essence realm must have improved tremendously. In short, he is now a downright monster. Even if it was me, I'm afraid I would not be qualified as his opponent now. "I feel like that too," Qing Kang, who had been silent the whole time, also commented in a low voice. "Although I haven't fought against him in the last 3 years, the second I saw him I felt like he has reached a level I can't even touch." "Oh." Zhen Wushuang's pupil slightly dilated. Bailey Chen and Qing Kang were the two people who actually fought with Shui Yun, but they were both afraid of him. Zhen Wushuang was also extremely serious. He knew that Shui Yun was exceptionally strong, but he was also quite strong. 2 years ago, he nearly killed a purple-masked assassin from Bloodfeather Tower. 2 years later, his strength was much greater. At this time, zoom. The general wearing a golden armor suddenly appeared in the air above the platform and an oppressive aura instantly radiated from him. For a time, the entire area was silent. All the warriors in the area, even including the experts from the Earthly Dragon list, were shuddering under the oppression of this aura. The young void realm. Jian Wushuang also flashed a trace of fear. The yin-yang void realm was divided into two realms, the yin void and the yang void, with the latter being stronger than the former. Each realm was divided into 4 sublevels: initial, profound, exceptional, and the peak. The 2 purple-masked assassins that Jian Wushuang encountered at the Clearwater stronghold were all at the initial yin void realm. They were the lowest among experts of the yin-yang void realm. The top 20 experts on the earthly dragon list were known to be able to match warriors in the yin-yang void realm. And the top 10 even possessed the strength to kill warriors in the yin-yang void realm. However, this only refers to yin void level of the yin-yang void realm. If it was the profound yin void realm, it would be a completely different story. Like Lin Yun, the governor of Blizzard City. He was in the profound yin void realm 2 years ago at Quiet Moon Lake. As for the yang void realm, it was more formidable and more terrifying than the yin void realm. Palace Masters White and Black, from Dragon Palace, and Greyrobe, from Bloodfeather Tower, were all at the yang void realm. The golden-armored general who appeared at this moment was a supreme expert in the yang void realm. This golden-armored general, suspended in the air, used his aura to silence everyone below. Then he slowly began to say, "The 68 gold core realm warriors, who are participating in the selection battle, should listen carefully. The location of this selection battle is in the Cloud Mountains next to you. The Cloud Mountains are made up of 15 giant mountains. At the moment, there are 15 spirit beasts, one on each of the 15 mountains. The goal of this selection battle is very simple. You just have to kill any of the 15 beasts and get its core. The selection battle will last for 7 days. After 7 days, the 15 men who give me a core will pass the selection battle." The voice of this golden-armored general was magnificent and echoed throughout the entire area, so all the warriors in the area heard him clearly. "Kill the spirit beasts and bring back the core?" Jian Wushuang's gaze focused slightly and his expression grew a little weird. He fought with the spirit beasts numerous times, so he was not afraid of them. What surprised him was the duration of this selection battle. The Cloud Mountains were rather small. With a group of people searching, all 15 spirit beasts could be found and killed in half a day. In other words, all 15 cores might be claimed within a day. But the selection battle would last 7 days. Before the 7th day, even if someone had a core, it would mean nothing. The cores for passing the selection battle could only be handed over to the golden-armored general 7 days later. 7 days. They just want to watch us fight for 7 days. 68 warriors in the gold core realm are participating in this selection battle. However, there will only be 15 victors in 7 days. Once Jian Wushuang understood the rules of this selection battle, he smiled slightly. The voice of that golden-armored general continued to echo. In the 7-day selection battle, nobody can leave the Cloud Mountain range unless they give up. In addition, you are allowed to kill in this selection battle. That is to say, if your strength is poor, dying here could be your destiny. Similarly, as long as you have the strength, you can kill your opponents to gain the core needed to pass the selection battle. If you are attacked by the sect or experts associated with the person you killed here, our Golden Dragon Palace's experts will help you. In other words, in this selection battle, you can do anything you want. But there is one rule. During this selection battle, it is forbidden to swallow elixirs that can increase your cultivation level in a short time. Anyone who breaks this rule will be executed. As for other means, feel free to show your full strength. Hearing this, the 68 gold core realm experts that were participating in this selection battle all grew serious, barring a few people who were confident in their own strength. Obviously, this selection battle would be very cruel. Chapter 158, Cloud Mountain Range. Chapter 158, Cloud Mountain Range. It is currently noon. Give me the cores at this time in 7 days, then you will be counted as having passed the selection battle. Only then can you participate in the Easternmost Hunt in 2 months. Now, everybody enters the Cloud Mountain Range. After saying that, the golden-armored general was finished. Several dozen figures in the field immediately glided towards the nearby mountain range without any hesitation. Jian Wushuang, Yang Zixuan, Su Ru, and the other 7 disciples of Dragon Palace suddenly moved forward as well. Shui Yun directly floated towards the Cloud Mountain range too. On the way, he couldn't help glancing at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang also glanced at Shui Yun. Shui Yun opened his mouth, slowly mouthed a few words. Although he did not speak it out, Jian Wushuang could understand the words. It was, "You are a dead man. Who dies first is still uncertain." Jian Wushuang's face was cold. In just an instant, the 68 Gold Core Realm experts participating in the selection battle had already entered the Cloud Mountain range. It was a remote mountain range and normally few people entered it. But now, a fierce and bloody fight would be held there. Jian Wushuang, "Good luck to you guys," said Bailey Chen. "Good luck." Jian Wushuang also nodded. Soon after, Bailey Chen and several other disciples of Dragon Palace scattered. The number of spirit beasts was just 15, with the same number of cores. That was to say, only a few people could get the cores. If the disciples of Dragon Palace Dragon stayed together, their overall strength was enough to get some cores. However, the distribution of the cores would be a big problem. So, they chose to fight separately. "Second brother, fourth sister, how about you guys?" Jian Wushuang asked. "I can get a core on my own," Yang Zixuan said coldly. "I also want to use my own strength to make it through the selection battle," Su Ru said. "Alright, then we 3 will separate as well. We all must be careful. Even if it's not possible to get a core, don't worry about it. Staying alive is more important," Jian Wushuang said. Su Ru and I only have to face the ordinary experts of the Earthly Dragon list. You, on the other hand, have to face Shui Yun. You need to be very careful. Don't put yourself in a dangerous situation." With his lip curled, Yang Zixuan instantly left by himself. "Wushuang, you have to be careful," Su Ru said seriously. "Don't worry." Jian Wushuang smiled. But soon he took back the smile and asked, "Su Ru, let me ask you." After talking with Jian Wushuang for a moment, Su Ru left alone as well. Jian Wushuang touched his nose. Soon after, he raised his head and looked toward the giant mountain in front of him. "I'll just choose this one." With a smile, Jian Wushuang stepped forward and glided toward the mountain. The mountain was very huge. It took some time to find a spirit beast even when the mountain was very quiet. But right at that moment, howl tilde. A fierce roar sounded from another nearby mountain, followed by an extremely violent aura. Noticing the aura, the Gold Core Realm experts in the Cloud Mountain range all became startled. Yin-Yang Void Realm. As expected, it's a spirit beast in the Yin-Yang Void Realm. Judging from the aura, it should be an ordinary spirit beast in the Yin-Yang Void Realm. These Gold Core Realm experts already understood. When they were informed by the Golden Armored General that there were 15 spirit beasts in the Cloud Mountain range, most of them already figured out that those beasts should be in the Yin-Yang Void Realm. After all, the participants in the selection battle were all the most talented geniuses in Tianzong Dynasty. The weakest among them was strong enough to defeat the experts in the initial Yin Void Realm, while the strongest, in the top 10 on the Earthly Dragon list, could kill experts in the initial Yin Void Realm. In such a high-level selection battle, it was impossible for them to just face spirit beasts in the Gold Core Realm. So when they noticed the aura of this spirit beast, none of them were surprised. The first beast has already been discovered, not sure who will get it though, Jian Wushuang thought. But he quickly put the thought at the back of his mind. Instead, he paid full attention to this mountain, which also contained a spirit beast. 15 mountains, each with a spirit beast. Boom! A blazing energy suddenly roared from the top of the mountain. After immediately raising his head, Jian Wushuang saw a fierce spiritual power fluctuation. At the same time, he sensed a very violent aura. Haha, the spirit beast is over there. With his eyes glistening, Jian Wushuang glided towards the top of the mountain. At the same time, there were 3 other Gold Core Realm experts who noticed. They also eyed this mountain. In just a few moments, Jian Wushuang and the other 3 appeared on the mountain top. Together, with the gold core realm warrior who was already fighting that spirit beast, there were 5 people on this mountain. When Jian Wushuang appeared, the other 4 simultaneously looked towards him. It's understandable. Before the selection battle, Jian Wushuang had a fierce fight with Shuiyun and the fight ended in a draw. His strength was already recognized by everyone. He was certainly one of the most terrifying experts in this selection battle. So naturally, he would draw attention. Jian Wushuang looked at the spirit beast in the center instead of the 4 experts. It was a leopard spirit beast with a purple pattern all over its body, like a purple cloud. The spirit beast was not big, but an astonishing and violent aura radiated from it. Demonic cloud leopard. Jian Wushuang smiled because he had already identified it. Soon after, he looked at the 4 and muttered, "It should be easy for them to kill the demonic cloud leopard with their strength. However, they are waiting around. Apparently they are worried about something." Jian Wushuang was right. All of them were worried about a few things, and he was their biggest worry. "Jian Wushuang, we 4 found this demonic cloud leopard before you. It should be a contest among us 4. You go somewhere else," a red-robed woman among the 4 said. This red-robed woman was the strongest among the 4, she was also ranked 8th on the Earthly Dragon list. Demon girl Ling Shuer, ranked 8th on Earthly Dragon list. As per the ranking, Ling Shuer was higher than him. But having experienced the fierce fight between Jian Wushuang and Shuiyun before the selection battle, Ling Shuer felt some apprehension upon seeing him. This is a selection battle. Even if you guys get the core, I can still take it from you. Not to mention that you have not killed the demonic cloud leopard yet. You don't have the power to make me leave," Jian Wushuang said and smiled coldly. While withdrawing the triple kill sword from its sheath, a fierce sword essence suddenly rushed out. "If you are not willing to leave, then I will have to drive you out," Ling Shuer said coldly, with an aquamarine long whip in her hand. Chapter 159, 3 strips. Chapter 159, 3 strips. A whip. Jian Wushuang queerly smiled. Whoosh. The demonic and seductive figure of Ling Shuer instantly moved. Like a glamorous viper, Ling Shuer appeared in front of Jian Wushuang, flicking out the aquamarine long whip. At that time, many streaks of the waves were rolling without cessation. Jian Wushuang felt that he was sucked down by the whirlpool and the boundless seawater was squeezed toward him. With this level of strength, you are qualified to be ranked 8th on the Earthly Dragon list. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly and then struck out with the triple kill sword. Fiery wind sword essence suddenly rushed forward, forming a fiery wind dragon which seemed to burn and tear up everything. In an instant, that endless wave was frantically scattered around with overwhelming strength. What? Ling Shuer was shocked. Previously, when she witnessed Jian Wushuang fighting with Shuiyun on the platform, she could tell that Jian Wushuang was strong, but she didn't know how strong. After all, she did not personally experience the power of Jian Wushuang's sword. But now, she was experiencing it. It's too strong. If I fight with him in close combat, I will instantly be defeated. Although Ling Shuer was shocked, she looked calm. When Jian Wushuang was stabbing towards her with his long sword, her figure began to retreat, with a streak of cold light flashing in her eyes. "Go to hell!" Ling Shuer roared, then 3 streaks of flowing light pierced the air and appeared in front of Jian Wushuang at an astonishing speed. Concealed weapons, the corners of Jian Wushuang's mouth were quirked up, too easy. A burst of sword essence of earth rushed out from Jian Wushuang's sword, easily parrying the 3 streaks of flowing light. While the streaks were falling down, Jian Wushuang recognized that they were 3 tiny willow leaf knives covered with a greenish-black liquid. Obviously, that was poison. "You are vicious, it's indeed correct to call you demon girl." Jian Wushuang and his sword shadow suddenly rushed forward. Ling Shuer could only try her best to brandish her long whip and parry it. However, Jian Wushuang's sword strikes were too fast and powerful. 6 moves were displayed in succession, and all of them were extremely powerful. After the 6 moves, Ling Shuer's hands were trembling and numb. Her face was pale and her figure was quickly retreating. "Ling Shuer, if you get in my way again, I guarantee that you will not see the sun tomorrow." Jian Wushuang looked at Ling Shuer with cold eyes. Ling Shuer was ranked 8th on the earthly dragon list. Killing her would take a little time. Ling Shuer's expression became gloomy. Although she was furious, now was not the time to show it. But at that moment, suddenly, there was a loud scream. Jian Wushuang and Ling Shuer immediately looked in the direction of the scream. Both of their expressions immediately changed. They saw the demonic cloud leopard standing on the ground with a corpse lying in front of it. The head, separated from the body, was in the mouth of the demonic cloud leopard. With a fierce chomp, the head was instantly crushed. What happened? Both Jian Wushuang and Ling Shuer were shocked. When they were fighting, the remaining 3 people began attacking the demonic cloud leopard. They were all experts on the earthly dragon list, ranging from the 30th to the 40th rank on the list. Logically speaking, any one of them could defeat a beast in the yin-yang void realm. It was more than enough to kill a demonic cloud leopard if they worked together. But instead, it was the demonic cloud leopard that killed someone. This demonic cloud leopard. Jian Wushuang looked at the demonic cloud leopard again, this time in astonishment. He was surprised to see that there were 3 purple cloud stripes on its abdomen. 3 stripes. Jian Wushuang was shocked. A 3-striped demonic cloud leopard? Ling Shuer was also shocked. Demonic cloud leopards, a kind of senior spirit beast, were rare in Tianzong dynasty, and most of them were in the gold core realm. As for the demonic cloud leopards in the yin-yang void realm, it was estimated that only 1 or 2 existed in the whole Tianzong dynasty. Demonic cloud leopards had 3 levels. The levels were based on the number of purple cloud stripes on their abdomen. The most normal demonic cloud leopard had only 1 purple cloud stripe. A demonic cloud leopard with 2 purple cloud stripes was very rare. As for 3 purple cloud stripes, it might not be possible to find one in 100 demonic cloud leopards. There was a huge discrepancy in the strength of demonic cloud leopards at each level. For a demonic cloud leopard in the yin-yang void realm, if it had 1 stripe, it was comparable to the most common experts in the initial yin void realm. A 3-striped demonic cloud leopard could absolutely be compared to an expert at the peak of the initial yin void realm. Maybe even an expert in the profound yin void realm. When they arrived, they assumed the demonic cloud leopard was only a normal demonic cloud leopard with 1 stripe. No one had paid attention. Now, they realized it was a big mistake. I thought the 15 spirit beasts in the Cloud Mountain range were common spirit beasts in the yin-yang void realm. Apparently, I was wrong. Among the 15 beasts, there are some powerful and terrifying spirit beasts, such as the 3-striped demonic cloud leopard, Jian Wushuang said in a low voice. After they discovered the 3-striped demonic cloud leopard, a large number of experts in the yin-yang void realm gathered in the air above the Cloud Mountain range, overlooking everything below. They could see everything that happened in the Cloud Mountain range from their position. Haha. These fellows really thought those 15 spirit beasts would be easily defeated. They underestimated the cruelty of this selection battle. It seems like all 15 spirit beasts are only in the normal yin-yang void realm, but 3 of them are unique spirit beasts with strength that is close to the profound yin void realm. They are hard to deal with. This 3-striped demonic cloud leopard is only the first one. There are 2 other spirit beasts that are close to the profound yin void realm, and they will soon come across these little fellows. How unfortunate for these little fellows. The experts of the yin-yang void realm were casually talking. On the mountaintop, Jian Wushuang's expression had become cold. However, the gazes of Ling Shuer and other 2 earthly dragon list experts were filled with fear after seeing this 3-striped demonic cloud leopard. The 3-striped demonic cloud leopard is in the yin-yang void realm. Even if I could fight it with my full strength, I'm afraid that I could not kill it. Squinting her eyes, Ling Shuer immediately made a decision and looked at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang, you wanted me to get out of the way, right? So, I'll leave. This demonic cloud leopard is yours. I hope you will cherish it and take good care of it. After that, Ling Shuer turned around without hesitation and left. Chapter 160, Fierce Fight. Chapter 160, Fierce Fight. After Ling Shuer left, The other two experts looked at each other and then left as well. None of them had the confidence to face this three-striped demonic cloud leopard in the yin-yang void realm. On the entire mountaintop, Zhen Wushuang was the only one who stayed to fight with this demonic cloud leopard. During 2 years of earnest cultivation in the sword tomb, my strength improved a lot. However, I have not used my full strength in a fight since I left the sword tomb. But this three-striped demonic cloud leopard, glancing at the animal in front of him, Zhen Wushuang's eyes shined with battle intent. Indeed, since he left the sword tomb, he fought several times, but none of them were fierce battles. The opponents were too weak to be his match. The slaughter in Clearwater Stronghold was a good example. While facing 2 purple-masked assassins, he easily killed one of them. When he challenged the Heavenly Palace, he did his utmost, but the opponents were just puppets. Their strength was only enough to hold him back, not enough to be considered a life-and-death battle. Up till now, he had not experienced a truly fierce fight. Only a truly fierce battle would help him fully digest the progress he made in the sword tomb over the past 2 years. This three-striped demonic cloud leopard, which possessed battle strength close to the profound yin void realm, was completely capable of challenging him. Come on! With a monstrous battle intent, Zhen Wushuang's body flashed like a flowing light and rushed forward like a sharp sword. Human. Demonic cloud leopard's eyes were blood-red and surging with potent killing intent. Being a spirit beast in the yin-yang void realm, its intelligence was the same as a human. When the human expert captured it, it was told that it could live as long as it survived for 7 days. As a spirit beast, its survival instinct was very strong. Go to hell! With a roar, the demonic cloud leopard suddenly rushed forward with a speed that was even a bit faster than Zhen Wushuang. It instantly appeared in front of Zhen Wushuang, waving its sharp claws towards him. These claws seemed as if they could tear apart the world. Zhen Wushuang simultaneously released the fiery wind sword essence. The triple kill sword suddenly rushed forward like a vast fire dragon. The 8th move of the formless sword art. Zhen Wushuang used this move with his full power. Bang! Soon after, a deep collision was heard and the demonic cloud leopard immediately retreated. In terms of pure power, I am stronger. Zhen Wushuang smiled and muttered. He possessed a supreme gold core, so even in the profound gold core realm, his power was able to reach a whole new level. But the key reason was his sword art. Using the fiery wind sword essence with the formless sword art greatly enhanced his power. His strength was even greater than the demonic cloud leopard. Whoosh! Zhen Wushuang displayed his second move, slashing out with the triple kill sword again. He used the 8th move of the formless sword art once more. But demonic cloud leopard wasn't stupid. It knew it could not win based on strength, so it aimed to win with its speed. With a dash, the beast evaded Zhen Wushuang's attack. All 4 legs kicked against the ground as it opened its mouth and revealed its cold teeth, directly pouncing towards Zhen Wushuang's head. This was exactly how the previous earthly dragon list expert died while fighting with the demonic cloud leopard. Zhen Wushuang did not panic at all. He immediately turned the fiery wind sword essence into earth sword essence. Demonstrating the reincarnation sword skill, his long sword directly blocked the demonic cloud leopard as it closed in and prepared to pounce. Bang! With this collision, both Zhen Wushuang and the demonic cloud leopard retreated backwards. This demonic cloud leopard moves pretty fast, and it's very flexible, Zhen Wushuang muttered. This human, obviously, the demonic cloud leopard noticed that Zhen Wushuang was much stronger than the person he just killed. After a short pause, they fiercely attacked again. As this was happening, it was all being watched by the experts gathered in the air above the Cloud Mountain range. What is that young man, Zhen Wushuang, doing? Is he really fighting with the demonic cloud leopard? Stupid, really stupid. It's not easy to kill a 3-striped demonic cloud leopard. He should leave that mountain and fight the other spirit beasts rather than wasting time fighting with this demonic cloud leopard. The other beasts are much easier. Exactly. It's stupid to fight with the demonic cloud leopard. Ling Shuer was smart. She chose to leave and immediately went to another mountain. She understood it's not easy to deal with this demonic cloud leopard. The spirit beasts in the mountain she went to have ordinary strength. Plus, she is the strongest expert there, so she has a very good chance of getting a core. Haha, he is not even scared of Shueyun, not to mention this demonic cloud leopard. A silly boy. What an impetuous person. The peak experts were wantonly talking and laughing. The two palace masters of Dragon Palace, who were among them, wore sullen faces after hearing what they said. What is he doing? Why not just leave and go kill other spirit beasts? Palace Master White said and frowned. Among the peak experts, only one person understood Jian Wushuang's purpose. He was Di. Is this little guy training himself? Using this three-striped demonic cloud leopard to train? Training. Yes, he was training. It's been more than 2 years since Jian Wushuang took part in a fierce battle. The reason he fought with the three-striped demonic cloud leopard was not because he was silly or impulsive. He had his own purpose, which was to experience a fierce battle. He was eager for an intense fight. At the same time, during this fast-paced battle, he was gradually digesting the great progress he made over the last 2 years. Jian Wushuang and the demonic cloud leopard had been fighting for a long time on the mountaintop. Good. This feels so good. Sweat ran from Jian Wushuang's forehead, but he was getting excited. I have not been this satisfied for a long time. The opponent is just a spirit beast, but my whole body feels comfortable. But this is enough. Jian Wushuang raised his head and looked at the demonic cloud leopard. The demonic cloud leopard had erupted with its full strength in this fight just now. But Jian Wushuang had only displayed the fiery wind sword essence and earth sword essence. The former was used to attack and the latter for defense. Offense and defense combined without leaving any flaws. However, he never displayed the water drop sword essence during the fight. It's time to end this. After taking a deep breath, Jian Wushuang violently stabbed out with his longsword again. But as the sword light rushed forward this time, what it contained was not the monstrous fiery wind sword essence, but torrential water drop sword essence. Suddenly, the sword light glided through the air like a mist, leaving a peculiar wave rippling in the air. The demonic cloud leopard immediately felt the sword essence surging towards it like the tide, from all directions. It slashed out with its claws, continually swinging and tearing, trying to escape from this flowing sword essence. However, the more it struggled, the deeper it sank. It's them. Jian Wushuang's eyes constricted. He knew the two men. He had encountered one of them before. It's Ouyang Haoyue and his big brother, Ouyang Haotian. Jian Wushuang scratched his nose. The two men coming towards him were exactly Ouyang Haotian and Ouyang Haoyue. Ouyang Haoyue had been holding a grudge against Jian Wushuang. The reason why Jian Wushuang ranked 10th on the earthly dragon list, so to speak, was that he defeated Ouyang Haoyue. At that moment, Ouyang Haoyue had said that when the selection of battle began, he would return twice the disgrace he got from Jian Wushuang. The three-striped demonic cloud leopard had battle strength close to the profound Yin Void realm. And you killed it by yourself. Your strength really is outstanding, said Ouyang Haotian, who wore a gloomy smile with coldness in his eyes. What do you want? Jian Wushuang looked at Ouyang Haotian, with a frosty expression on his face. He directly ignored Ouyang Haoyue. With your strength, I wouldn't normally be interested in fighting with you for that core. But, there is bad blood between you and my little brother, and I can't pretend I don't know about you bullying him, Ouyang Haotian said. Jian Wushuang, I told you over a month ago, that I will return what I got from you that day twofold. And the time for that is today, Ouyang Haoyue roared with hatred. You'll return it to me twofold? With just the two of you? Jian Wushuang looked indifferent. Not the two of us. I alone am enough, Ouyang Haotian said, with a hint of absolute confidence in his smile. Jian Wushuang looked over at him. Not long ago, Ouyang Haotian had defeated Mu Yingying, who ranked 3rd on the earthly dragon list, and took her place on the list. His strength was undoubtedly formidable. But Jian Wushuang wouldn't bear him in mind with such a battle record. What surprised him was, why is Ouyang Haotian so confident? Why don't you come and try? Jian Wushuang's voice was cold, and the sword essence that once ceased was explosively surging from his body again. He, I won't let you down." Just as Ouyang Haotian's voice spread out, his figure rushed forward. He appeared in front of Jian Wushuang, with a streak of ice-cold light suddenly shining. He was holding a long pitch-black spear, its head glittering with a metallic luster under the sunshine, incomparably dazzling. Soundlessly, the long spear thrust towards Jian Wushuang. Water drop and earth essences. Jian Wushuang squinted his eyes. He recognized the water drop and earth essences. Not only that, they were combined together. Obviously, Ouyang Haotian was also an absolute genius who could combine two essences. Among the 68 geniuses who participated in the selection competition, there were no more than 5 who had achieved the combination of two essences. Ouyang Haotian was one of them. Humph! Jian Wushuang sneered and chopped out with his triple-kill sword, straight from the sheath near his shoulder. Shua! It cut through the air. The sword's edge landed directly on the ice-cold spearhead, with the fiery wind sword essence bursting to its limit. Pia! A blast roared. The long pitch-black spear tilted, but it quickly thrust out like poisonous snake's tongue. Shoo! 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 Whips of spear shadows stabbed toward Jian Wushuang in rapid succession, with each of the shadows aimed directly at his throat. Jian Wushuang, leisurely and unhurried, fended off the spears with the reincarnation sword skill. Clang! 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 The sound of continuous clashes burst out. The spear shadows were extremely fast and attacked at tricky angles, forcing Jian Wushuang to keep retreating. Dozens of spears thrust out. Although all of them were blocked by his reincarnation sword skill, Jian Wushuang has forced back tens of feet, until he finally crashed into a giant tree on the mountaintop. Crack! The giant tree, tens of meters high, exploded from the center. Jian Wushuang managed to regain his balance, then brushed the wood chips off his shoulder. He roused his strength, instantly causing the muscles and bones in his body to make loud cracking sounds. Then, Jian Wushuang looked toward Ouyang Haotian. His voice was cold and hard as he said, "Ouyang Haotian, please don't tell me this is all you've got." "Oh." Ouyang Haotian raised his brows and said, "It's true that the strength I just showed is not a threat to someone like you, who killed a 3-striped demonic cloud leopard by himself, so..." An intense light flashed in Ouyang Haotian's eyes, then his body rushed forward like lightning. The ice-cold spear shadow pierced through the air like an electric drill, instantly appearing in front of Jian Wushuang. The same spear move. Jian Wushuang looked indifferent. It seemed to be the same as the first move Ouyang Haotian demonstrated just a moment ago because the essence comprehension in the move was being suppressed. While, still being cautious, Jian Wushuang immediately chopped toward the spear shadow with his triple-kill sword. However, when the spear shadow collided with the triple-kill sword... What? Jian Wushuang's face changed immediately. Chapter 162, Half-Step Yin-Yang Realm. Chapter 162, Half-Step Yin-Yang Realm. It seemed like the same spear move, but when the spear clashed with the triple-kill sword, Jian Wushuang sensed a tremendous power pass through his hand, instantly numbing his arm, and forcing him to quickly retreat. Jian Wushuang hit the trees behind him again. But this time, he didn't stop until he had smashed 3 giant trees. Jian Wushuang's forehead knotted as he frowned, and the blood in his body was slightly turbulent. His strength suddenly increased so much. Jian Wushuang looked towards Ouyang Haotian again, noticing a dramatic change in his spiritual power. His aura, Jian Wushuang's eyes froze. He could feel that the aura given radiating from Ouyang Haotian was far beyond the exceptional gold core realm, but still slightly below the yin-yang void realm. It seemed like something between the gold core realm and the yin-yang void realm. Half-step yin-yang realm. Jian Wushuang understood immediately. The realm between the gold core realm and the yin-yang void realm was the half-step yin-yang realm. It resulted when a gold core realm warrior forcibly repressed his realm when it was breaking through to the yin-yang void realm. But under normal circumstances, no one would choose to do so. After all, a gold core realm warrior would naturally strive to break through. Who would repress his own realm instead of ascending to the next level? Therefore, the half-step yin-yang realm was rarely seen in the Tianzong dynasty. Ouyang Haotian was obviously in the half-step yin-yang realm. You noticed? Ouyang Haotian sneered while looking at Jian Wushuang, then said, "If it wasn't for the easternmost hunt happening so soon, I would have been in the yin-yang void realm half a year ago. But I suppressed my realm so I could join the hunt. Jian Wushuang, you do not understand the pain of suppressing your cultivation when you are able to break through to a higher level, do you? I sacrificed so much, just to perform better in the easternmost hunt. And you will be my first stepping stone. After killing you, my next goal will be Shuiyun." Ouyang Haotian's voice rang out coldly as he was slowly walking toward Jian Wushuang. Up in the air, those top experts were also in a tumult. Half-step yin-yang realm? Is it the half-step yin-yang realm? This little guy from the Ouyang clan is amazing. These experts were quite shocked. The half-step yin-yang realm, although not a complete yin-yang void realm, was much stronger than the gold core realm. Brother Ouyang, this time the Ouyang clan has trained an extraordinary little guy, congratulations. With a cultivation at the half-step yin-yang realm and the combined earth and water drop essences, Shuiyun may be the only one with enough strength to overshadow him among the gold core realm warriors in this selection battle. There should be a place for this little guy in the 15 geniuses from this selection battle. He should also perform very well at the easternmost hunt. He might even be picked up by those old sects. If so, the entire Ouyang clan would gain great benefits. All these experts were complimenting him. The person receiving their compliments was a white-haired old man, the present master of the Ouyang clan, who was smiling from ear to ear while listening to their flattery. If a great genius from a clan joined an old sect, the whole clan would gain huge influence. The core disciples of those old sects will even be sought after by small empires like the Tianzong dynasty. On top of the giant mountain, Jian Wushuang was still struggling in his fight against Ouyang Haotian. Shoop, 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 shoop. Streaks of spear shadows thrust coldly toward Jian Wushuang, each shadow piercing the air with immense power. Jian Wushuang could only fend off these spears by using the reincarnation sword skill to the limit of his ability, but the gap between their strengths was slowly exhausting him. My cultivation, which is in the profound gold core realm, is only on par with the exceptional gold core realm because my supreme gold core can enhance my power by 100-fold, but it still can't compare with the half-step yin-yang realm. Jian Wushuang shook his head. His current level of cultivation was not strong enough. If he could reach the exceptional gold core realm, with the support of his supreme gold core, he could match a normal yin-yang void realm, which was stronger than Ouyang Haotian. But for now, he was still weaker than Ouyang Haotian because he was in the profound gold core realm. Since I can't defeat him with strength, I'll have to depend on my comprehension. A billowing battle intent flashed in Jian Wushuang's eyes. In 7 days there would be a life-and-death battle between Shuiyun and him, and Shuiyun was far stronger than Ouyang Haotian. If he could not defeat Ouyang Haotian, then fighting Shuiyun would be the same as putting his head on the chopping block. Ha ha, go to hell. Ouyang Haotian laughed as the spear in his hand began to change its movements. The spear sometimes slashed out, swung up, pounded down, and thrust forward with a cold light from time to time. The spear moves, perfectly combining the earth and water drop essences, was incredibly powerful. As he struggled to fend off the attacks, Jian Wushuang's face suddenly changed. Then he stared at the movements Ouyang Haotian displayed, and his eyes flashed as he sensed the realm embedded in the spear moves. This spear move. Water drop essence. Water drop essence can be used this way? At this moment, Jian Wushuang had an epiphany. In the 2 years he meditated in the sword tomb, it took him only 1 year and 3 months to combine the gale and raging fire sword essences. He spent the remaining time trying to combine a third sword essence. He had experienced some enlightenment during the following months. But, regardless of whether it was the earth sword essence or the water drop sword essence, he was missing something crucial that prevented him from combining either of them with the sword essences of gale and raging fire. It was indeed the little things that he missed that troubled him for a long time. But now, seeing the endless water drop essence that was bursting from Ouyang Haotian's spear moves, Jian Wushuang was inspired, and the thing he was missing gradually became clear. Boom! The long pitch-dark spear struck out like a majestic mountain, which Jian Wushuang barely managed to ward off with his sword. A loud bang rang out as the power exploded, and then Zhen Wushuang's entire body sank down into the ground. "Prepare to die, you little brat." Ouyang Haotian laughed and then pierced forward with his spear, directly toward Zhen Wushuang's heart. But Zhen Wushuang suddenly hacked out with his sword, making Ouyang Haotian immediately withdraw. "What?" Ouyang Haotian looked at Zhen Wushuang in surprise. At this moment, Zhen Wushuang had already struggled out from where he had sunk into the ground and lifted his head. A touch of a weird smile emerged on his cold face. "I have to thank you, Ouyang Haotian. If it were not for you, I would not have broken through so quickly." Zhen Wushuang's eyes sparkled. At that moment, the triple kill sword in his hand had the sword essences of Gale, Raging Fire, and Water Drop perfectly combined together. Chapter 163, The Combination of Three Sword Essences. Chapter 163, The Combination of Three Sword Essences. Breakthrough? Though Ouyang Haotian's face changed, he still sneered and said, "It won't be enough to save your life." As soon as the words finished, Ouyang Haotian launched another attack. A spear shadow immediately struck out like a flickering serpent's tongue. While watching this with cold eyes, Zhen Wushuang clenched his triple kill sword and combined the sword essences of Raging Fire, Gale, and Water Drop. The long sword instantly turned into a flowing light, slashing forward through the air. Selfless sword technique, the first move. Bang! The sword light collided with the spear shadow, splitting the inky long spear in half. Then the powerful sword light continued, hacking straight through Ouyang Haotian. Whoosh! Zhen Wushuang appeared beside Ouyang Haotian at the same time. Speaking slowly with a cold voice, he said, "This is the first time I have used this move in the selection battle. Consider it your honor to be killed by it." After hearing what Zhen Wushuang said, Ouyang Haotian widened his eyes with an unbelievable expression, then his body slowly collapsed. It was not until Ouyang Haotian landed on the ground that his blood began flowing from the center of his forehead. Looking closely, there was a huge sword scar that ran from the center of his eyebrows to the lower half of his body. This sword scar ended his life. Ouyang Haotian, ranked third on the earthly dragon list, in the half-yin-yang realm, was killed by a single move. In the air above the Cloud Mountain range, there was a tense atmosphere surrounding the many experts that were watching this battle. As they watched Zhen Wushuang and Ouyang Haotian continue fighting, they began talking and laughing. "Look. Those two guys are still going at it. Haha. Still. But it's obvious that Zhen Wushuang is being completely suppressed. It's normal. In this selection battle, Shuiyun is the only one who is stronger than Ouyang Haotian. As for the others, there's no one who could be his equal. Not the second on the earthly dragon list, Bailey Chen, and not Zhen Wushuang either. This guy is really impetuous. It was understandable for him to have a fierce battle with demonic cloud leopard if you consider its strength. However, there is a distinct gap between them in the strength. He is just being foolish by fighting with Ouyang Haotian. Does he want to die? Haha. He is a little silly. These experts continued talking casually, but Palace Master Black and Palace Master White showed unnatural expressions while listening to them. What the hell is he doing? Why isn't he escaping? He is obviously unable to compete with Ouyang Haotian. Palace Master White's forehead scrunched up tightly. Then suddenly, something strange happened on the battlefield. Zhen Wushuang forced Ouyang Haotian to retreat with a sudden outburst from a single move. When such a fantastic move was displayed, those experts watching from above were all attracted by it. The sword light fell and Ouyang Haotian died instantly. Silence. Dull. Dozens of experts had been watching this battle from above, and all of them were stunned at this moment. A few minutes ago, some of them regarded Zhen Wushuang as foolish and impetuous, but now, Ouyang Haotian had been killed in a single move. Was he really impetuous? Foolish? The combination of three sword essences. Seeing that, even the Emperor, Di, who sat in the center on a throne, couldn't help standing up with a bright light flashing in his eyes. Three sword essences? Exactly. That move didn't just contain three sword essences, it combined all three of them perfectly. He actually combined three sword essences in such a perfect way. It's no wonder he was able to increase his strength in such a short period. Those experts exclaimed in surprise. When combining sword essences, the power naturally became stronger. The power of 2 combined sword essences was much stronger than only 1 sword essence. As for the combination of 3 sword essences, the strength would increase explosively. Jian Wushuang used to conjecture that if he combined 3 sword essences, his fighting strength would at least triple. But his strength had actually increased by a factor of 5. This rapid improvement in strength made it possible for him to kill Ouyang Haotian, who was in the half-step yin-yang realm. It's extraordinary for a warrior in the gold core realm to combine 2 essences. No more than 5 people in this selection battle can combine 2 essences. Someone who can combine 3 essences is more truly an exceptional genius. Di, she said in a low voice, and then he looked at Palace Masters Black and White, then asked, "How old is he?" "Your Majesty, Jian Wushuang is 19 years old this year," Palace Master White directly responded. "Only 19 years old? Not even 20 years old?" Even Di, she couldn't help exclaiming after hearing his true age. The other experts were also shocked. Was it possible for a 19-year-old kid to combine 3 sword essences? "This young guy definitely has a promising future," Di, she said. Hearing this, Palace Master Black smiled. It reminded him of what he had said when Jian Wushuang challenged the Dragon Gate. He is very promising. If we give him chance to grow, he'll definitely become a top expert in Dragon Palace. Even ascending the Heavenly Dragon list will not be a question. However, as such an exceptional genius, he faced several assassination attempts from Bloodfeather Tower, Palace Master White said in a cold voice, involuntarily looked at Greyrobe. Assassination attempts. Di-Shi's face fell as he looked at Greyrobe. "Your Majesty. The assassination was ordered by the Tower Master, and it's a Scarlet Kill command. If there are any questions or issues, Your Majesty, you would have to speak directly with Tower Master," Greyrobe replied. Di-Shi's pupil slightly shrunk. Although he was the monarch of the Tianzong dynasty and the strongest expert ranked on the Heavenly Dragon list, he was unwilling to make contact with that Tower Master unless he had to. Simply put, the mysterious Tower Master of Bloodfeather Tower was an insurmountable person. 2 years ago, when Dragon Palace crazily seeking revenge on Bloodfeather Tower, that mysterious Tower Master personally went to Di-Shi and convinced him to order Dragon Palace to stop. "Leave it alone." Di-Shi waved his hand and then sat down again. But the other experts in the area were still having trouble recovering completely. At this moment, Palace Master Black and the Palace Master White were laughing loudly and feeling very delighted. Some people were happy but others were distressed. Like the elder of Ouyang clan. This white-haired old man turned his face away with an extremely gloomy expression. His heart was full of joy just a moment ago. But the most excellent person in the Ouyang clan, the one that most likely to be accepted as an exceptional genius by those ancient sects, was killed in front of him. How could he not be angry? His heart was bleeding. Now, those experts who flattered and envied him before were all looking at him with pity. Chapter 164, 7 Days. Chapter 164, 7 Days. At the summit of the mountain, while watching Ouyang Haotian's body fall down, Ouyang Haoyue's original cold smiling face instantly turned pale. Brother. How could it be possible? How? Ouyang Haoyue couldn't believe it. Just now, his brother completely overpowered Jian Wushuang. But in a matter of seconds, it had been reversed. His brother had died by Jian Wushuang's sword. Your brother is dead. Now it's your turn. Jian Wushuang's cold eyes suddenly looked towards Ouyang Haoyue. That look was enough. Ouyang Haoyue was scared out of his wits. He attempted to flee, but he was much slower than Jian Wushuang. A beam of sword light flashed past Ouyang Haoyue's body, instantly killing him. After combining 3 sword essences, Jian Wushuang could already kill Ouyang Haotian, who was in half-step yin-yang realm, with one move. Killing Ouyang Haoyue was a piece of a cake. The moment Ouyang Haoyue was killed by Jian Wushuang, a chair suddenly cracked up in the air. The leader of the Ouyang clan stood up, with his hair and long beard billowing out, generating an overwhelming aura. and his eyes were burning with fury. Seeing this, everyone understood why this white-haired old man was so angry, and they didn't say anything. Seriously. Though the Ouyang clan was one of the 7 top clans in Tianzong dynasty, it was rare for such a genius to appear. They were lucky enough to have 2 genius born in this generation, and they were brothers. However, both of them were killed by the same person in this selection battle. If it was anyone else, they would definitely be angry as well. If it was anywhere besides the selection battle, the white-haired old man would have already killed Jian Wushuang. At the summit of the mountain, Jian Wushuang directly sat cross-legged on the ground and started recovering his spiritual power after killing the Ouyang brothers. These 2 successive battles had consumed a lot of his spiritual power. How are second brother and fourth sister doing? Jian Wushuang wondered, but he was not actually worried about it. With his strength, Zhaixuan could rank in the top 10 or above on the earthly dragon list. Even without being reckless, with his strength, it would not be difficult for him to get a core. After all, only those who ranked in the top 5 could threaten him. Among the top 5, Shui Yun, an exceptional genius, ranked first, and no one dared to challenge him. Therefore, as soon as he got a core, he would stop fighting. Bailey Chen was a disciple of Dragon Palace and ranked second, he would definitely not challenge Yang Zhaixuan. Ouyang Haotian, who ranked third, was killed by Jian Wushuang. Mu Yingying and Feng Yutian, ranking 4th and 5th respectively, could threaten Yang Zhaixuan. However, even if Yang Zhaixuan couldn't defeat them in a head-on competition, he was able to save his own life. As for Su Ru, Jian Wushuang knew Su Ru had many secrets, and she was also full of tactics. All the warriors in the selection battle, even the strongest, Shui Yun, might be unable to truly kill her. I already have a core. I need to use the next few days to prepare for the battle with Shui Yun. Jian Wushuang's eyes were shining. The selection battle lasted for 7 days, and today was only the first day. Before the selection battle ended, he would definitely confront Shui Yun. Therefore, he needed to be well prepared. For that reason, he stayed on the top of the mountain and made his preparations for the battle with Shui Yun. Throughout the Cloud Mountain Range, the fighting and killing continued. On the first day in the Cloud Mountain Range, 68 Gold Core Realm experts experienced the fiercest and craziest fights over the 15 beast cores. Of the 15 spirit beasts, 3 of them almost reached profound Yin Void Realm, while the other 12 were in the initial Yin Void Realm. However, they were all killed within half a day. After the spirit beasts were killed, the Gold Core Realm experts fiercely fought with each other. Among the 15 mountains, fierce fights happened on the top of almost every mountain. In a single day, all 15 cores had been claimed and less than 30 Gold Core Realm experts were still alive in Cloud Mountain Range. 68 Gold Core Realm experts joined the selection battle. However, only a day later, more than half of them had been eliminated. Among those who were eliminated, 90% of them were killed in a fierce battle. Only a few of them left the Cloud Mountain Range, realizing that the selection battle was horrifying and because they lacked confidence. The remaining Gold Core Realm experts who didn't get cores lingered on, looking for opportunities. After all, the selection battle would last for 7 days. On the second day, it was quiet during the day. But during the night, a fierce fight took place again, after 3 experts joined together and sneak attacked another expert who possessed a core. Though it was not as fierce as the first day, several experts were eliminated. On the third day, there was a fierce fight in the Cloud Mountain Range that caused a lot of noise. It was the battle between Yang Zhaixuan and Ling Shuer. Ling Shuer, ranked 8th on Earthly Dragon List, had once competed with Jian Wushuang for a short time. While Yang Zhaixuan, who was unknown before and was not even on Earthly Dragon List, made his name known to all after this battle. During the battle, Ling Shuer tried her best to keep the beast core. However, Yang Zhaixuan directly killed her with a thunderbolt attack. After the battle, the experts who were watching from the air thought Yang Zhaixuan was qualified to rank in the top 5. On the 6th day, the last day was almost here. All the Gold Core Realm warriors who did not have a core could not wait any longer, so they all acted. So did Su Ru. Su Ru had kept a low profile during the selection battle. It was not until the 6th day that she joined with some others and killed a warrior with a core. Then they fought for the core, which was taken by Su Ru. Then she was besieged by several gold core realm warriors. However, even after they used all their skills, they could do nothing to her. She was like a ball of cotton which could not be crushed or smashed. In the end, she succeeded in getting a core. On the same day, Qing Kang, the disciple of Dragon Palace who ranked 6th on the earthly dragon list, was sneakily attacked by several gold core realm warriors and eventually killed. Other disciples of Dragon Palace could only feel sorry for him. Finally, it was the last day of the selection battle. After sitting at the top of the mountain for 6 days, Jian Wushuang opened his eyes, with a sharp light shining in them. "It's the last day. Come on." After saying that, a sharp sword essence radiated from his body, soaring into the sky. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories,